Okay, very good. Thank you. Now it's time for us to start the presentation. Can we start now? Group one. Group one is talking about management. So please, the one who is not presenting the material, prepare a question for your friends. The question for each group should be around minimum 1 or 2 questioners. Okay. Okay, group one, time is yours.
Izin share screen ya, Miss.
Ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, Miss Lydia, as the lecturer of Business English from Class A, and all my beloved friends. We are from Group 1 and we are going to present our material about management for today. Next. First, I will introduce our group members. My name is Tata Persada with the student ID number 211101107 and also the third presenter. And here is Maulia Putri with her student ID number 211101102 as the first presenter. And Revando Benedict with the student ID number 211101101 as the second presenter. To Maulia as the first presenter, time is yours.
What is a management? Management is an art or principle related to organizing, such as planning, building, and organization, and its organization, movement, and control or supervision. The word management comes from English, namely manage, which means to organize, plan, manage, seek, and lead. Etymologically, management is the art of implementing and managing. Management is needed to that personal or organizational goal can be achieved. The meaning of management according to experts. Number one, George R. Terry. Management is a process that consists of planning, organizing, mobilizing, and controlling to achieve predetermined goals. Number two, Harry Poyal. Management is a process of planning, organizing, and controlling existing resources to achieve effective and efficient goals. Management management function. Number one, planning. Planning is a series of process for selecting or setting organizational goals and determining and the strategies needed to achieve goals. Organizing organizing is a series of activities for the division of tasks to be carried to out the process of the delivering of organizational structure that is accordance with company goals. Number three, placement function
Placement.
and leaders has the text of planning a file or scores according to need. For there is action the seek to make our group members free to achieve goals in accordance with managerial and business plans. Five, supervision and controlling the purpose of controlling or servants is as assess the work that has been done by all human resource in a company. Management objective. Number one, can determine an effective and efficient strategy to achieve predetermined goals. Number two, regulate and maintain emotional health, personal, financial, and all sectors in a company so that the company can achieve maximum profit. Number three, conducting a work evaluation, reviewing the situation that will occur with the aim of making strategic adjustment if things happen that are outside the strategy. Number four, evaluate and review strengths, weakness, opportunities, and the threat, the exit, and so on. Okay, that's all from me. Through the moderator.
The next material will be continued by Refando. Refando, time is yours.
Thank you for the moderator. So now I will continue our presentation about benefits of management in organization. Organizations are formed because there are some goals to be achieved. And to achieve the goals, management science is required in the organization. According to Hani Handoko, there are some reasons why management science is very necessary and important in organization. The first is management science is serve as a balancing indicator of various organization goals between society, consumers, customers, employees, and even the owners. The second, also with management science, the organizational goals can be achieved more effectively and efficiently. So management science has a very broad and universal role as also functional. In the life of science, the science can be applied as needed, starting from the concept, principles, and rules in a certain managerial condition. Next is the elements of management. There are 6 elements. One is human. The most important factor in management is human. Humans make goals and carry out the process of achieving these goals. In other words, the work process will not occur if there is no human element in it. Number 2 is money. In addition to humans, money also very influential management element because the results of activities can be measured by the amounts circulating in a company. The existence of money can be a tool in the process of achieving goals with rational use. The 3 is materials. The availability of raw materials is very vital in the production process. Without materials, companies cannot process something to sell. Experts are needed to process raw material into finished or semi-finished goods. Human resource and raw materials are closely related to each other and cannot be separated. Number 4 is machines. Machines are needed by humans to make difficult work easier and faster. The use of machines will increase yields and profits and make work process more effective and efficient. In addition to being efficient, the level of human error can be minimized. However, it takes reliable resources, and quality raw materials to obtain maximum results. The 5 is methods. Work can run effectively and efficiently when done with the right method. A work method must consider goals, facilities, time, money, and business activities. In addition to the right and the good method must also be understood by the humans who run it. The last is market. The consumer or market is very important element. Without market, the goods will not be sold. This is because there is no demand which can make production stop. Companies' activities can also be vacuum. Next. Next slide. Next is manager levels. There is 4 manager levels. The first is the top manager is responsible for company strategy. In other words, they are the administrator of the vision and mission of the organization. Positions that classified as top manager are CEO or chief executive officer. The second level is the functional manager. Is responsible for the effectiveness and efficiency of a particular area of the company, such as marketing. They are also responsible for personnel and account parts. The third level is the team manager or supervisory manager. Is responsible for the subgroup of a particular function. They may also responsible for a group of members from these different parts of the company. The fourth levels is the line manager. Is responsible for the output of a particular product or service. They hold authority in a vertical chain of command or even a particular product line. Next. Next is how to become a manager according to the opinion of Peter Drucker. The number 1 is planning. First of all, senior managers and directors set objectives and decide how their organizational can be achieved or accomplish them. This involves the developing strategies, plans, and precise tactics, and allocating resources of people and money. Number 1 is organizing. Secondly, managers organize. After managers carried out and determine the plan, next step is the implementation of this plan. In this implementation, manager must organize, analyze, and classify the activities and tasks of people in the company, and also choosing the right people for each task so that it will run well. Number 3 is integrating. Thirdly, managers can through communication and motivational skills must be able to integrate employees and company to company's goal. Managers must be able to hold employees responsible for their work individually and as a team. Manager also make decisions on remuneration and execution of promotion. That's the 3 of 5 tasks that I explained and also my presentation. The 2 more tasks will be continue. And now I return to the moderator.
Okay, I will continue the material about how to become a manager, number 4. Next slide. Number 4 is measuring performance. Managers have to measure the performance of their staff to see whether the objective or target set for the organization as a whole and for each individual member of it are being achieved. And number 5 is developing people. Lastly, manager develop people, which means is both their subordinate and themselves. Next slide. Next is how to be a good manager. To be a good manager, a manager must be able to carry out the management function as well. In carrying out this manager function, a good manager needs to have several skills. Number 1 is conceptual skill. Are skills in making idea and concept that need to be provided for the development or activities so that they can provide progress for the company. Number 2 is communication skill. Are certainly very necessary for a leader in fostering good relationship or relationship with other people. As much as possible, a leader needs to have a communicative and persuasive language so that he can lead his subordinates. Number 3 is technical skills, which include the ability to perform a job, for example, such as skill in operating a computer. Number 4 is time management skills. A leader who has skills in time management can certainly use time more wisely. Time is very valuable for a manager in a company. Lastly is decision-making skills, especially decision concerning all matters relating to the progress of the company. The decision should be fast, precise, and accurate so that the decision can be implemented immediately to overcome a problem and assist the implementation for and progress of the company's goal. Next.
Case study. Selecting a chief operating officer. Company A is a cigarette manufacturer that has to modernize its production.
Who is this talking? I think the case study is the exercise. Yeah, you don't have to explain this. It's okay. Case study is in a form of exercise for this book. In this book, so I don't think your group should explain this. It's okay. Can you go to next slide, maybe? Okay, this one.
Okay, I will continue the summary of material for today. Management is a process where a person is able to control, move an activity or activities carried out individually or in groups, so that if done with good and correct management, it will obtain satisfactory results and according to the goals to be achieved. Management also has several functions that are carried out for the betterment of the company. And by carrying out its function properly, several benefits will be obtained after implementing the organizing function. Next. So that's all our presentation. For the audience who have questions, please click the raise hand button or write your question in the chat box.
Okay, very good question, please. Yeah, management is important, yeah, because without a good management, the company will be failure. And then if the company has a good management, then the company will be successful. And then the company also should have a very good manager that has 5 tasks. The first one is planning. Planning means that the manager should be able to set the plan and then set how things will be going for the company. And then organizing means that the manager know what is going to be done, and then doing what the manager has planned. And then integrating means that the manager should be able to have the ability to motivate and then to also have a good communication with the staff. And then measuring performance mean that after the management do the whole things, they have to review and then make sure which one is not effective and then which one is effective. And then the last one is developing people after doing a very good planning. And then there is evaluation. What strategy will be used to maximize the performance of the company in the next performance? I think that's, and then your groups has also defined that there are 6 elements in management. There are humans, money, materials, machines, methods, and market. The 6 of these all are important, and then it is connected, because if one thing is missing, then the management will not be done properly, something like that. Okay, have we found all of the questions? Ada yang bertanya? 1 or 2 questioners? Question? Okay, Diki Ferlian Utama. Diki, what is your question?
When you become manager, what kind of leadership style will you adopt?
Can you repeat once again?
When you become a manager, what kind of leadership style will you adopt?
Okay, leadership style. Thank you, Diki. Is there any more question? Nada Salwa, okay. Nada, what is your question?
My question is, what if we become manager and fail to achieve goals? What to do as a manager? What should we do if we being manager so we fail to achieve goals? Thank
Okay,
you.
what should we do as a manager if we fail to achieve goal? Okay, I think group 1 will be answering the question after the presentation all done, yeah. Okay, now we go to group 2. Group 2 will be talking about work and motivation. So your question should be regarding work and motivation. Okay, group 2, time is yours.
Hello everyone, here I'm the moderator from Group 2 who will present the work and motivation material. Previously, I will introduce the member of our group. The first one is myself, Nixie Autafiaknas, with ID student 2111011013. And my other friends, please introduce yourself.
My name is Jessica Sasmita, NPM 2111011011.
And my name is Vicky Andrian. My student ID number is 2111011016. Thank you.
Okay, next, we will immediately present our material. First material will be presented by Jessica Sasmita. Vicky Andrian, sorry.
Thank you, moderator. Now I will presentation about work and motivation. Work is activities carried out by someone to complete or do something that produce a means of fulfilling existing needs such as good service and getting paid or wage. Next. Motivation is feeling or a form of desire in oneself to achieve something. In this case, employee, they need motivation to be able to complete the work that has been given by the company. Next, motivation is very necessary in a job. If the motivation is lost from within the employee, of course, it will have a big influence and impact on the sustainability of the company. Therefore, we need to understand how important motivation is to be able to encourage employee morale. Next, the main reason it is important to motivate employee in the company. Motivate employee will not hesitate to give the best for the company. That is, improve employee retention, help lighten the task, increase product value. Next is motivation objective. Motivation objective are one, improving employee morale and job satisfaction. Two, increasing employee productivity. Three, maintaining employee stability. Four, increasing discipline. Five, streamlining employee procurement. Six, creating good working relationship and atmosphere. Seven, increasing loyalty, creativity, and participation. Eight, improving employee welfare. Nine, enhancing sense of responsibility towards tasks. And 10, increasing efficiency in the use of tool and material. Next is motivation principle. Number one, involving principle. Provide opportunity for subordinate to participate in submitting ideas or suggestions in decision making. Number two, communication principle of informing about the goals to be achieved, how to them, and the obstacle faced. Number three, recognition principle, giving rewards and proper and reasonable recognition to subordinates for their achievement. Number four, delegate authority principle. Delegate some of the authority and freedom of employee to make decision and be creative and carry out the tasks of superior or manager. And number five, the principle of reciprocal attention. Motivate subordinate by expressing company desire of expectation in addition to trying to meet needs that subordinate expect from the company. That's the material I can convey. Then I will return it to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Vicky Andrian. The next material will be presented by Jessica Sasmita.
Maslow hierarchy of need. Number one, physiology, food, drink, shelter, and recover from the pain. Number two, security and safety. The need for independence from threats. Number three, sense of belonging, social and affection. Number four, appreciation, esteem. The need for self-esteem. Number five, self-actualization. The need to fulfill oneself through maximize use HR management ability, skill, and potential. Next, extrinsic or hygiene. Number one, wages. Number two, job security. Number three, working condition. Number four, status. And number 5, company production. Intrinsic. Number 1, achievement. Number 2, responsibility. Number 3, progress. Number 4, the work in itself. Number 5, possibility of developing. Next. MC Cielan's theory of motivation. The theory that say that a person with a strong need will be motivated to abort appropriate behavior to satisfy needs. MC Cielan's 3 needs. Number 1, achievement needs MC Cielan. Number 2, need for power. Number 3, affiliate needs.
Okay, thank you, Jessica Sasmita. And the last one will be presented by myself. Next slide. Motivation method. First, direct motivation. Motivation, material and non-material, given directly to employees to meet their needs and satisfaction. Second, indirect motivation. The motivation given is only various facilities that support work passion so that employers feel at home and eager to work. Next slide. Motivation tools. First, material incentive. Motivation that is material in return for assessment given the employers in the form of money and goods. Second, non-material incentive. Motivation that is not material, among other things, proper placement, award, guaranteed work, fair treatment. Next slide. Types of motivation. First, most positive motivation. Managers motivate subordinates by prize or rewards to those who excel in on-standard performance. Second, negative motivation. Manager motivates subordinates by punishing those who are not able to achieve certain standard of performance. Next. Motivation process. Things that need to be considered in the motivation process. Number 1, goal setting. So you have to determine and know in advance what goals you want to achieve. Number 2, knowing employer desires. Need to know what the want and needs of employers. Number 3, there is good communication. Build good communication so that there are not gaps and misunderstanding. Number 4, integration of company goals with employer interests. Harmonize what the company is aiming for and what the employers want. Number 5, providing facilities. Then there is also a need for supporting facilities so that employers are able to work well. And the last, forming a well-coordinated teamwork. From a good composition and work team in accordance with the field of work. Okay, here is our presentation. We conclude. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, group 2. You are talking about work and motivation. In work and motivation chapter, actually McGregor has 2 kind of theories. The first one is theory X, and then the second one is theory Y. Theory X tells that people are mostly pessimistic, and then they are lazy, and then they are also should be supervised and controlled, and they are incapable of taking responsibility for themselves. While theory Y tells us that people need to go to work, and then people are able to take responsibility for themselves. So the trigger in their motivation is basically based on the Abraham Maslow famous hierarchy of needs. There are 5 needs. The first one is physiological needs, which is we need air, food, drink, clothing, shelter, sleeps, and warmth, something like that. And then as a human, we also need safety needs as a security, protection, and stability of financial maybe. And then love and belonging needs means that we need family, friendship, relationship, and then work groups. And then STEM needs means that we need to achieve something. We are encouraged to reach social status, and then recognition from other people, and then reputation. And then the last one is self-actualization need. It means that people need something to have a personal growth and then fulfillment of their achievement something. Okay, do you have any question for group 2? Okay, Wardahani, what is your question? Hani, what is your question?
My name is Wardahani, ID number ID number 20. My question is in group 2 opinion, what is the thing that makes our motivation decrease?
What is the thing
That makes our motivation decrease?
okay, makes our motivation decrease or increase?
Decrease.
Decrease means turun.
Menurun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, Hani.
Thank you.
Goni, what is your question, Goni?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Goni Arkani with student ID number 211101157. In that materials, we are learn about manager top to be able to motivate their staff or their employee to maximize the task and stuff like that. But the question is how the top managers keep their motivation if they have no one who care about their motivation like employee. Thank you.
How the top managers keep their motivation?
Yes, ma'am. How the top manager if they have no one who care about their motivation like employees.
Okay, even if they have no one. Okay. Okay, thank you, Goni. Okay, we have already 2 questions. Now we go to group 3. Okay, group 3 will be talking about company structure. Means that they will explain to you about the structures that exist in a company. So make sure that your questions will be related to company structures. Okay, group 3, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning to the most wonderful lecturer, Miss Lydia, and good morning to all my friends. An honor to meet you in this beautiful day where Group 3 would like to present about company structure. Before we start, let me introduce ourselves. I am Warda, my ID number is 20, and there are Maratus, her ID number is 23, and Viveni, her ID number is 24. So what is the company structure? What is the function and benefits of company structure? For more detailed explanation, let's talk together. For Viveni, time and place is yours.
Okay, the first material is about understanding the company organizational structure. The organizational structure of the company is a level or arrangement that contains the division of tasks and roles of individuals based on their position in the company. Generally, the company structure is arranged in the form of a chart or hierarchical line and contains a description of each component of the company. The main goal is to make it easier for companies to divide the duties and responsibilities of each individual in running a company or business. The organizational structure helps the company to place potential and competent individuals according to their fields and expertise. Function of a company's organizational structure. Organizational structure in a company is very important. The reason is the organizational structure serves as a guideline for a company related to management to develop strategies and achieve the targets that have been set. Without a clear organizational structure, it is certain that the company will find it difficult to develop and potentially stall. More clearly, the function of the company's organizational structure is threefold. The first is describing the role of each individual in the company. Every individual in the company, in this case an employee, must of course have a role and responsibility that must be done. The position given must also be in accordance with the expertise and potential of each employee. Behind the given position, there are obligations and authorities that must be carried out and accounted for. Clarify performance relationship flow. The organizational structure also functions so that every employee knows the flow of performance relationship clearly, starting from the limits responsibility for each position to the right time, methods, and person to collaborate to facilitate the implementation of performance. And the last is describing job description. If the tasks of each component are broken down with clear description, it will certainly help employees and superiors to achieve goals. The employees can more easily formulate strategies and collaborate because they can focus and concentrate on areas that match their expertise. Meanwhile, superiors can more easily carry out monitoring and supervision of employee performance. Okay, the next material will be delivered by Mar'atu Soleha.
Benefits of company organizational structure. As you know, that not all companies implement or even have an organizational structure. If your company is one that hasn't implemented it yet, try to reconsider because there are many benefits to implementing an organizational structure within the company. The first is establishing good communication and collaboration. Communication and collaboration between employees and teams will be better if you apply a good organizational structure. It makes it easier for you to give the right and appropriate division of tasks to each team member. Organizational structure is also useful to avoid duplication of work and assist in decision making. The second is operational efficiency. The operational system and all needs can be fulfilled more effectively and efficiently if the company has a clear and organized organizational structure. In the description of the organizational structure, of course, there are procedure or operation for each task so that each team can optimize its performance. The third is minimizing conflict between employees. In the work environment, conflict is common. For this reason, companies need to have an organizational structure to minimize this. The organizational structure can help employees to focus on their respective part of the job, thereby reducing the risk of dispute. The last is increased employee productivity. If the organizational structure along with its description and guidelines are conveyed properly to employees, it will further increase their self-confidence. That way, the work done will be better, which of course has an impact to increasing employee productivity. will be delivered by Wardah. Next, example of position in the company organizational structure. There are four positions that always exist in the organization structure. There are director, manager, department or division, and administration and warehouse. Next slide. Director is the person who has the duty and authority to manage the company. This position is a line of individuals who have an important role in organizational structure. This is because they have the authority to make decisions on the continuity and development of the company. And next, there are manager. The company manager is a person whose role is to integrate the potential and characteristic of employees in the order to achieve company's goal. Starting from providing guidance and direction, making policies and monitoring and supervision to increase company profits. Next slide. Next, department or division. In an organizational structure, there are several departments or divisions which, of course, there are accordance with the type and needs of the company. This section is generally led by department or division head. You may also call it team leader. The last one, administration and warehouse. The administration and warehouse section are generally divided to several sections, such as accounting, C&T, cut, make, trim, and cashier. This position plays a role in managing and analyzing companies' finances by making financial reports in companies' financial reports application containing records of expenses, income, and so on. This position is also responsible for the company's inventory, starting from the entry and exit of inventory to stock maintained, which will be more easily managed with inventory application. Next. Okay, thank you. That's our presentation. Then it's time for the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, Group 3, for explaining a very good explanation about company structure. Now we come to question and answer question session. Question, please, for Group 3 about company structure. Company structure. Questions? Or are they explaining well? So that they have, you have no question for them. No questions. Okay, we have one. Nabila Aizahra. Nabila, what is your question?
The question is, what if a company doesn't use an organizational structure? Will it affect the sustainability of the company? Thank you.
What if a company doesn't have any organizational structure? Okay, fine, good. Thank you, Wila. Do we still have another question? Okay, if not, it's okay. We can go to the last presentation today, managing across culture. Okay, wait. Oh, sorry. Now we come to managing across cultures. Okay, Group 4, time is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon all. The Honorable Miss Lydia as a lecturer of Business English Class A and all friends who have attended to a lecture this day. We are from Group 4 will deliver material about managing cross-culture. Before continuing to discuss the material, I will introduce the group members. Next. The first is Mila Fadila. Next slide.
Next slide.
The first is Mila Fadila, and her student ID number is 2111-011029. As first presenter. And myself, Maratun Soleha, and my student ID number is 2111-100130 as a third presenter, and Andila Safitri, and her student ID number is 21011033. The material that we will discuss include a definition of managing cross-culture, the key basis of managing cross-culture, why managing cross-culture is important, core ability of the managing cross-culture, strategy for managing cross-culture, list of the advantage of multinational corporation, list of disadvantage of multinational corporation, cultural types, the Lewis model, and difference of globalization and localization. For the first material will be presented by Mila. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Maratun. What is managing across culture? Involves the ability to recognize and embrace similarities and differences among nations and culture, and then approach key of organizational and strategic issues with an open and curious mind. Next.
The slide is not working, maybe. You are freezing. It is still in the slide of names of group members.
Ini udah di next, Miss.
Okay. Andelanya keluar. Can somebody help?
The key basis of managing across culture. Relationship time. Interest and time are neglected to build relationship and develop trust, and without trust and relationship can be seen as prerequisites from working with someone. Time orientation. the degree to which people believe they can control time, adhere to the schedule, or whether the schedule is seen as a due date or an estimate. It also includes whether the schedule or people are important. Change in tolerance in terms of how much surveillance people think their life is over and their goals and pleasures are with change, take risks and innovating. Next. Why managing a cross-culture is important. Cross-culture managing is needed in an international group because the different background of each component in the group certainly affect the nature and working of the group. This is where the role of managing is a communication tool so that this element can understand each other. Cross-culture management not only acts as a communicator of elements in the group, but cross-culture management also from a culture of its own within the group. That is for me. I'm returned to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, the next presented by Andela. Time is yours.
Core abilities of the managing across cultures. Number 1, understand. Number 2, appreciate and use cultural factors. Number 3, motivate the employee. Number 4, global mindset. Number 5, strong culture. Next. Strategy for managing across culture. Number 1, MNC strategies must address the cultural similarities and differences in their varied markets. Number 2, globalization, the production and distribution of product and service of a homogeneous type and quality on a worldwide basis. Number 3, national responsiveness, the need to understand the different consumer tastes in segmented regional market. Number 4, need to understand the different consumer taste. Number 5, regional market. Next. List of the advantage of multinational corporation. Number 1, multinational corporation provide an inflow of capital. Number 2, multinational corporation reduce government aid dependence in the developing world. Number 3, multinational corporation allow countries to purchase import. Number 4, multinational corporation provide local employment. Number 5, multinational corporation improve the local infrastructure. Number 6, multinational corporation diversify local economies. Number 7, multinational companies create consistent consumer experiences. Number 8, multinational corporation encourage more innovation. Number 9, multinational corporation enforce minimum quality standards. Number 10, multinational corporation increase cultural awareness. That is from me. I return to moderator.
Thank you, Andela. I will continue. The material is list of the advantage of multinational corporation. Number one, multinational corporation create higher environmental costs. On primary advantage which multinationals see in doing business in developing world is lack of robust environmental legislation. Weaker government tend to exchange environmental harm for additional profits when these companies can outsource their production to countries with these lower standards. It does lower price, but it also creates more damage. Countries like India even trade in waste and rubbish because of the revenue they earn from recycling and disposal, creating the potential for harm to local soil and water supplies. Number two, multinational corporations don't always leave profit locals. There is evidence to show that the investment made by multinational companies improve the local infrastructure, additional education and job training, offer new opportunity for domestic workers. Once the investments are made, however, the profit earned by the company tend to be repatriated for use in the other areas. If you were to look at the net inflow of capital instead of the gross, you usually find that the actual benefit offered by multinational is quite low and sometimes even negative. Number three, multinational corporation imports skilled labor. The amount of time necessary to create local skills that encourage high productivity levels is measured in years, not weeks or months. Multinationals invest in local workers to develop their skills, but they also need to get their venture off the ground quickly. Most companies in this position will import the skilled labor they require from other economies to meet their needs. That means the best jobs, especially in the developing world, are given to people who don't even live in the local economy. Those wages do not offer the same economic benefits because spending occurs internationally instead of at the local level. Number four, multinational corporations create one-way raw material resource consumption. There are exceptions to this disadvantage. Some Chinese companies are building roads to help them access raw material in Central Africa, creating infrastructure benefits which should last for years, if not decades to come. Many multinationals go into a new country looking to extract raw material without infrastructure consideration, taking oil, rubber, or precious metals to create products. Those extraction efforts may cause several environmental concerns over time, for the pollution of rivers to the loss of landscape. And investment pay for the material, but they don't always pay for the damage left behind. Number five, multinational corporations encourage political corruption. The developing world struggle with income generation, with many workers earning less than $2 per day. When multinationals enter the region, promising to pay for access to raw material and other needs, those in charge politically often prevent the investment from filtering down to the general population. Many usually get siphoned off by politicians and officials, which create massive disruption and at the local level with only minor compensation, if any, from the government working with the corporation. Number six, multinational corporations support sweatshop labor. Sweatshop labor is typically seen as a disadvantage to local economies, although some experts suggest that any job and income is better than nothing at all. Weak labor conditions allow multinationals to lower wage to the greatest extent possible to pay their own profit margins. Even when minimum salaries are legislated by the government, what workers earn in the developing world is very small. Number seven, multinational corporations remove jobs from their home country. Several jobs are more economical for the multinational to outsource offshore the position than hire domestically. Manufacturing jobs and outsource most often, with multinational focusing on Southeast Asia because the
because of the lower labor cost involved. Call centers are outsourced frequently too, again because wages are lower overseas than in their home market. Writer and graphic designer are often outsourced because contract employment are cheaper than full-time staff. This company might help other economic grow, but they can also create employment difficulties at home. Number 8, multinational corporations with legal monopolies. Even though the assets controlled by multinational corporations are managed by centralized structure, government treat each location as its own entity that give the company more leeway in how they handle their consumer market. Although no absolute monopoly exists on the global stage, there are some companies which come pretty close. And the last, multinational corporation put other companies out business. Cultural type, the Lewis model. Who is Richard Lewis? Richard Lewis is well known in the field of cross-cultural communication and the author When Culture Collide, Managing Successfully Across Culture and the Cultural Imperative, Global Trend in the 21st Century. He classified the model into 3 parts. Lewis has classified different cultures according to 3 poles representing different types of behavior. The different type of behavior is first linear active. Cultures such as Britain, the USA, and Germany are generally organized and rationally try to act logically rather than emotionally, plan in advance, and like to do one thing at a time. They believe on respecting rules, regulation, and contract. They are not afraid of confrontation but will compromise when necessary to achieve a deal. They are essentially individualists. Second, multi-active culture. In Southern Europe, Latin America, and Africa attach more importance to feelings, emotion, and intuition, and relationship and connection. People like to do many things at the same time. They are flexible, good at changing plans, and happy to improvise. They believe in social or company hierarchy and respect status. They are essentially collectivists and also what Trump planners call particularists. They believe that personal relationship and friendship should take precedence over rules and regulation. And the third, reaction culture. In Asia, prefer to listen to and establish the other position and then react to it. They try to avoid confrontation and don't want to lose face or cause someone else to. They rarely interrupt speakers and often avoid eye contact. They try to formulate approach which suit both parties. This is the picture, the Lewis model. In the picture blue, show linear active with characteristic behavior is cool, factual, decisive, and decisive planners. And in the red picture, show multi-active characteristic behavior, warm, emotional, loquacious, and impulsive. And the yellow show reactive, and the characteristic behavior is courteous, amiable, accommodating, compromiser, and good listener. So Indonesia is included in the yellow picture because it belongs to Asia. What is difference between globalization and localization? Globalization and localization are closely related to multinational corporations. Globalization is the strategy of multinational companies by using product standardization, which involves marketing strategy throughout the world, while localization is a strategy for multinational companies to adapt their methods, product, or service to suit local markets. It is a combination of the words globalization and localization. So in summary, it is a transnational strategy that involves a combination of globalization and localization involving adaptation to local needs. This is the picture of example globalization and localization. Example of globalization are companies such as Microsoft, Apple, Samsung, and the like that produce electronic products like handphone and laptop. Called globalization because the product is the same or standardized specification and components around the world. While example of localization is a franchise company like McD. Because even though the company is in various countries, the product can be different according to the local culture. For example, in Indonesia, there is a nasi uduk menu. In India, the menu doesn't use beef because it is considered sacred, and in Malaysia there is a nasi lemak menu. So a global and local blend by adjusting the local culture. So the conclusion of this material is managing across culture is very necessary in international or multinational companies because the different background of each component in the group certainly affect the nature and workings of the group, so that this corporate culture has an important role in developing the company in decision making. Because the management of this company is a communication tool to understand each other, so that the performance of its division can run optimally. Managing cross-culture help company understand how the group environment consists of various backgrounds and of course can support the performance of elements in the group. Thank you. So that's all from our presentation. Next is Q&A session.
Okay, very good. You have explained very complete. Is there any question for group 4? Okay, Shafa Karseva. Shafa, what is your question, Shafa?
My name is Safa Karseva with student ID number 215101 10 and 11. The question is, what is cross-cultural management current challenge? Thank you.
What is cross-cultural
management current challenge?
Yeah, thank you, Safa. Is there any more questions? Okay, if no more questions, we go back to group 1. Okay, group 1, have you found all of the answers? Actually, you have 3 questions. One is from Alkesa. Alkesa asks you about what happens if there is no planning in management. Okay, group 1, you can start answering your questions. Okay, group 1, are you there? Mas. Group 1, who is the member of group 1? You have questions from Vicky, Nada, and Alkesa.
I will answer the question from Vicky. The question is, when you become a manager, what kind of leadership style will you adopt? I will adopt the democratic leadership style, so that I know what employees want and can achieve suggestion. How the key is achievable?
So your group will choose democratic because the question should be answered, and the problem should have a solution based on every opinion of the staff, something like this. Democratic, like that only, yeah.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Yeah, I think next question.
Okay, I will answer the Alkesa Ramadan question. What happens if there is no planning in management? If there is no planning in management, that is can be a negative impact the attitude of an organization team. Employees who see aimlessness within an organization have no sense of a greater purpose. People need a reason to come to work every day besides the paycheck. Lack of direction result in moral problem because as far as your employee are concerned, the future is uncertain, unpredictable, and out of control. This depressing conclusion can always be seen as a threat to employment, which negative impact of productivity.
Yeah. Okay, next question, the last questions maybe.
Okay, I will answer the question of Nada Salwa. The question is, if we are managers and then we fail to achieve our goals, what should we do as managers? If the company's goal fail to be achieved, then we as a manager, we must be able to assess and find out the cause of the failure. Once known, we need to repeat the management process again, starting from planning, organizing, actuating or leading, and controlling the 6 elements of management, the human, money, markets, materials, methods, and machines that avoid the previous causes of failure. This is.
Yeah, okay, that's correct. Yeah, because if we fail to achieve our goals, it doesn't mean that it is the ending of something, but we have to know which one is not correct, and then we make progress by making mistakes. Okay, thank you. Group 1, you can close your presentation. Okay, Group 1, you can close your presentation.
Okay, so that's all our presentation for today. Thank you so much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Group 1, for having a very good question and answer session. Next one, we go to Group 2. The questions for Group 2 are coming from Wardahani and Guni. Group 2, time is yours.
My name is Jessica. I will answer Warda's question. What make motivation decrease is, number 1, there is a miscommunication between the boss and the employee. Number 2, uncomfortable work environment. Number 3, boring. And number 4, employee feel undeveloped.
Okay, permission to answer question from Goni. So, what makes top manager can maintain their motivation is their top managers show trust in their employees. By showing trust in employers, they will make effort to increase employee work motivation. Another thing is the provision of incentive. By providing incentive for employers who have good performance and so increase work result. By providing Adding incentives like this, employee motivation will be maintained and can provoke other employees to do the same in order to get incentive as well.
Enough for group 2. Is there any more questions?
Yes,
Yeah,
Miss.
motivation is important, yeah. Like you as a learner also, you need to have motivation so that you can finish your study sooner than being planned before. If you have no motivation, you will run the learning process just so, and then your graduation will be longer sometimes. Yeah, it's not only applicable for working areas, but also it is applicable for learning area. Yeah. Okay, thank you, group 2. You can close your presentation.
Okay, Miss. So many presentations from our group. Thank you, guys.
Okay, welcome. And then we still have 2 questions for group 3-1, and then 1 question also for group 4. Group 3, time is yours.
Okay, I will answer a question from Nabila Ayu Zahra. The question is, what if a company does not use an organizational structure? Will it affect the sustainability of the company? Companies that do not use an organizational structure will affect the survival of the company. The company will not run well because there is no division regarding the position and duties of each individual in the company. Does anyone have anything to add?
Can I add the answer?
Is there any more opinions about this? Yeah, that's why. Okay, Hani, what is your comment?
Yes, Miss. I will add a bit from the solution. Company structure is very important in a company because to clarify the position and coordination, clarify the path of relation, clarify responsibilities, and as control and supervision. If a company doesn't have a company structure, then there will be an overlap of authority, which will become a problem due to poor communication, so that the company's performance will be slow to reach the company's goals or vision. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why company structure is important, and because as an employee, we should know who are the person that we have to be responsible with. For example, if we have no one to be responsible with, so that our work will not be better. Yeah, we will do it as as good as we want, or as good as we want, is because there is no one in charge of our work. Okay, group 3, you can close your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for great question. That's all. Thank you very much for your great attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, waalaikumsalam. The last one. What is cross-cultural management current challenge?
Okay, I will answer a question from Safa Karsefa. The question is, what is cross-cultural management current challenge? The challenges first is communication and expression. The invention of communicating in a way such that everybody is on the same page in a concern in cross-cultural team. Everybody might be speaking in the same language and be well versed in English, but certain form of slang or colloquialism can often be misinterpreted. Second, information gaps. Everybody should be on the same wavelength to stay on top of data and process flow. There should be no manual effort to reconcile information from different sources. Each and every team member needs to have access to the right resources and the needed time to collaborate and complete their tasks. Third, work style. Every team member has a unique work style that is predominantly dictated by their culture. Some work culture value individual contribution and foster individual opinion. Some culture are more paternalistic, with the leaders deciding on a course of action and employees flowing into that. And fourth, influence. There can be cases the section of or group of the team has similar cultural identity or homogeneity. They may attempt to dominate the process and try to influence the entire team to swing their way. Fifth, motivation factor. Normally, companies have a single 3D to motivation and reward system that is largely determined by the norms and value of the company. It does not account for the distinct motivational factor of the cross-culture team. The motivator of employment can range from tangible benefit of increment, bonus, incentive, career progression, and intangible benefits that include recognition, job satisfaction, and encouragement. So is the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Group 4, Shafa, is it satisfying your questions?
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, no more questions? Okay, class, if there is no more questions, I think group 4 can close your presentation.
Okay, so that's all from our presentation. Thank you for the question. We are apologies if there any mistake, and thank you for all attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you group 1 to 2, 3, and 4 for your performance today. I am very satisfied with all of you. Okay, next tomorrow, yeah, not next week. Tomorrow we will also continue our presentation starting from group 5 until group 8, if it is possible. But if it is not possible, I think that we will do the presentation from group 5 until group 6 only. But please send your PPT to Penny or to me or directly to our group. Okay, Penny, can you please capture the screen, all of screen today?
Okay, Miss. Sebentar, Miss. Sudah, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Fanny, for assisting me so well. Okay, class, thank you for today's session. I hope you can enjoy your holiday. Okay, see you tomorrow. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.